Hello everyone, and welcome back to Behind the Bulletin, the channel where we uncover the stories, secrets, and behind-the-scenes moments the industry never expects you to see. Today, we're diving into a headline that has completely taken over the internet, sparking chaos, confusion, and a fan frenzy like no other. Yes, we're talking about leaked video chaos. Junho and Junho Jang's unexpected close moment sends fans into frenzy. What exactly was captured in that leaked footage? Why did this brief behind-the-scenes moment send social media into meltdown? And is there more to the story than what the public saw? Stay with us, because the truth behind this explosive leak starts right now. The chaos began with a single anonymous post, an upload so sudden and unexpected that it sliced through the internet like a blade. Leaked BTS clip. The title screamed, accompanied by a blurry thumbnail of two unmistakable silhouettes. Junho and Junho Jang standing far too close in what appeared to be a backstage hallway. Within minutes, the video spread like wildfire, igniting every corner of social media, sending fans into an emotional frenzy that only escalated as more people clicked, gasped, and shared. But the true shock wasn't the leak itself, it was what the footage captured. It all started on the night of a massive award ceremony, one where dozens of idols, actors, and industry legends gathered beneath towering chandeliers and thunderous lighting. Junho had been backstage rehearsing his special stage performance, hair slicked back, microphone in hand, eyes focused with its signature intensity that made him one of Korea's most captivating performers. Meanwhile, Junho Jang was finishing a shoot in the same building, her dress shimmering like stardust, staff members fluttering around her like anxious fireflies. By all accounts, their schedules shouldn't have overlapped. But fate, in its most chaotic form, willed otherwise. The leaked video opened with Junho Jang walking down a dimly lit hallway, her steps light, almost floating. She paused near a door, adjusting her earrings, unaware that someone was quietly watching her from the shadows. Junho stepped into the frame a moment later, wiping sweat from his jawline, his breath still heavy from rehearsal. He didn't notice the camera hidden behind a stack of equipment cases. Their eyes met. It lasted less than a heartbeat, but the tension it created rippled through the air like electricity. Junho took a step forward. Junho Jang straightened slightly, startled but not uncomfortable. Then came the moment that detonated the internet. Junho leaned in, speaking to her in a low, almost intimate voice that the microphone couldn't fully catch. But the camera captured the softness in his gaze, the tiny smile cornering his lips, the way Junho Jang brushed a strand of hair behind her ear, a gesture fans interpreted as flustered. The frame was analyzed to death, but the true chaos erupted in the final 10 seconds of the clip. Junho reached out, slowly, gently, to adjust something on her shoulder. Maybe a loose strap or a piece of fabric. Junho Jang froze, her breath hitching, and for a moment the two stood so unbearably close that the entire hallway seemed to pulse with an unspoken intensity. And then, someone shouted Junho's name off camera. Jerked back. Junho Jang laughed softly, covering her mouth. The video ended there. Net went insane. Fan forums crashed under the traffic. Editors zoomed in, slowed down, brightened the footage, dissecting the distance between their bodies frame by frame. Some fans squealed over the unexpected chemistry. Others panicked. Fandom wars ignited. Hashtags exploded. Speculations multiplied at a terrifying pace. While the world spiraled, both agencies scrambled behind the scenes. Staff panicked. Managers barked orders. PR teams prepared statements. But the biggest shock wasn't the reaction online. It was Junho himself. Instead of denying the moment, instead of brushing it off as coincidence, he remained silent. Deeply, emotionally silent. He replayed the leaked clip over and over in his dressing room after the ceremony. Jaw tight, brows furrowed, emotions flickering across his usually composed expression. Because he remembered the moment vividly. The warmth in her eyes. The soft intake of her breath. And he trembled when he reached for her shoulder. And he knew that the camera had only captured a fraction of the truth. What no one else saw was what happened after the clip cut off. That was where the real story began. As the world spiraled deeper into chaos. The unseen part of the story, hidden from the camera, protected behind a door that slammed shut right after the clip ended, shook Junho far more than the leak itself. Right after the staff called his name, Junho turned to leave, but Junho Jang reached out instinctively, touching his sleeve. It was brief, feather-light. Enough to stop him cold. "Wait," she whispered. Her voice was soft, like the glamorous persona she carried on stage. Junho looked back, eyes darkening with something unspoken. "Should fix your mic," she murmured, gesturing subtly to his collar. Moment their hands nearly brushed. The air between them tightened like a drawn bowstring. "Thanks," Junho replied, his voice lower than he intended. But before either could say more, staff burst through the hallway, calling them in opposite directions. They parted quickly, almost reluctantly, their expressions unreadable. That moment, fleeting, fragile, charged, could have disappeared forever. Until the leak. Next morning, Junho woke to thousands of messages. His phone buzzed non-stop, notifications piling faster than he could open them. Others demanded explanations. Fellow idols teased him. His company called an emergency meeting. But his mind wasn't on the panic, it was on the moment in the hallway, playing and looping fragments behind his eyes. While Won Young sat in her apartment in stunned silence. Her team had barred her from going online. Echo of chaos still reached her through hushed conversations and frantic phone calls. She wasn't scared of the public, they had always adored her. What terrified her was the memory of Junho leaning close, the warmth of his breath brushing her cheek, the tenderness she wasn't prepared for. She hadn't meant to react the way she did. She hadn't meant to smile like that. She did. Hours later, something unexpected happened. Ho texted her. It was a single line. "Okay." Won Young stared at the message as if it were a ticking bomb. She hesitated, her fingers trembling above the screen, heart racing faster than she expected. And then, without overthinking, she replied, "I'm fine. Are you?" Ho's answer came instantly. "No." That one word cracked open everything she thought she understood. Before she could respond further, her agency called her in for a crisis meeting. She tucked her phone into her bag and rushed out, aware that Junho was pacing his rehearsal studio. Able to calm the storm inside him, the agencies demanded damage control, statements, denials, explanations. Junho stayed quiet through most of the meeting until someone said, "Say it was just a misunderstanding. No connection. No interaction of significance." His jaw clenched. "It's not true," he said suddenly. The room froze. Junho wasn't known for confronting anyone. But today, his voice shook with determination. There was an interaction. Staff stared at him in disbelief. "So what are you saying?" his manager asked cautiously. Junho looked down at his hands, remembering the warmth of Won Young's shoulder beneath his fingertips. "I'm saying, don't lie." It was the closest he had ever come to admitting something that could change everything. Meanwhile, Won Young finished her own meeting, emotionally drained. Her agency pushing her to deny. She nodded along, but her thoughts were tangled somewhere else, in her phone, in his one-word message, in the moment that started this entire storm. Finally stepped outside. She saw something that made her breath halt. A black van. Junho's van. He stepped out, wearing a mask and cap. But she recognized him instantly. He walked toward her, not hesitantly, not fearfully, but with a resolve that startled her. "Junho, you shouldn't be here," she whispered. "I needed to see you." She froze. Silence stretched. The world around them blurred. Everything felt too fast, too real, too dangerous. "About the video," she began. Junho shook his head. "Forget the video. I just need to know one thing." Won Young swallowed hard. "What?" "Do you feel it too?" Her answer, whatever it would be, had the power to ignite or extinguish the fire consuming the internet. Won Young lowered her gaze, breath trembling, heart hammering. "I did," she whispered. Junho exhaled sharply, relief and terror flooding through him simultaneously. It was how the sweetest, most unexpected chaos of their careers truly began, not with a leaked video, not with a scandal, but with a moment neither of them could deny. A moment too real to ignore. A moment too close to walk away from. A moment that would change everything. In the days that followed, frenzy refused to die down. Analysts dissected every second of the clip. Fans defended their idols with fiery devotion. Agencies worked tirelessly to regain control of a situation that had slipped far beyond their grasp. Yet, amid the noise, the only thing that truly mattered was the quiet truth shared. Between Junho and Jang, a truth spoken not to the cameras, not to the public, but to each other. Their whispered admission beneath the fading afternoon light marked the real ending of the chaos. Not the gossip, not the speculation, not the headlines, but the fragile honesty that finally settled between two people caught in a storm they never intended to create. No matter where the public story twisted next. Both remember that moment, simple, trembling, undeniable. And just like that, the world's loudest noise gave way to the softest understanding. That sometimes the most unexpected moments become the ones impossible to forget. Thank you for staying with us through every beat of this story, through the tension, the mystery, the sweetness, and the shock. Your curiosity and imagination breathe life into every narrative. We are deeply grateful that you chose to experience this one to the very end. Until our next story, thank you for reading, for feeling, and for being here.